how will innovative leadership steer the Chamber towards new economic horizons? In this episode, we dive into the vision and the strategies of the newly appointed CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation. Join us as we explore how fresh leadership can unlock opportunities, tackle challenges, and collaborate with the government to drive economic growth. This is Innovative Leadership and Economic Growth, the Chamber's path forward. Keep watching. A brand new episode of You and Your Money starts now.
You and Your Money is brought to you by Summit Insurance, the National Insurance Board, Simplified Lending, and Fiscal.
Welcome to You and Your Money, everyone. Joining us today to talk about vision and innovation, the new CEO's blueprint for success, is the CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Mr. Rolle. Leo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you for having me.
Now, Leo, let's get started in talking about what are some of your key priorities as the new CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation?
Sure. Thank you for that question, Ria. So the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation stands on an established leadership threshold in terms of the foundation that's been built. And so my job as a CEO is simply to build on that foundation. And in doing so, there are a number of key areas that are pivotal and important for us. The first being, of course, developing those strategic collaborations. And so shortly you'll see more courtesy calls as well as linkages, building those strategic collaborations with those entities that can assist MSMEs with their trajectory. And so I speak of government, PPPs, I speak of international organizations. You'll find that we have a number of trade missions on the horizon for the year. We have a trade mission to Kuwait. We have one coming up to London. We're looking at China. We've already begun discussions with Canada, so that will be the first out the gate. You'll also find that one of the things that the Chamber has been big on in the past is the Chamber Institute. And so very shortly you'll see the Chamber Institute be relaunched. We're working now to refine the curriculum as well as the product offerings or the course offerings. We're also looking on a keen eye for the membership of the Chamber. And when I speak about membership, at present we're around 173 members. And so we're looking to double that membership by the end of year one of my tenure as the CEO. And so we have a progressive push towards that. We also have some low-hanging fruits that we're going to kind of galvanize behind and get out the gate right away, and one of them being a facelift for the Chamber that's been donated by Dynamic Builders. We also have a new sign that'll be erected very shortly, donated by Sign Island. So we have quite a bit going on at the Chamber, and we're just hitting the ground running.
Wow, you do sound like you have a whole lot on your plate coming out the gate. Absolutely. But can you share some of those innovative strategies and the initiatives that you plan to implement to drive economic growth?
Sure. So one of the things, I just came back from 𝗖𝗓 in Antigua, and one of the things that we found most interesting was that a lot of the cries of the small business community in the Bahamas are universal, and so you found a lot of the neighboring Caribbean countries going through the same. We speak about skills gap, and so one of the ways we're looking to do that, in June, I traveled to India at a skills conference where we'll be helping to craft policy related to skills and how we help MSMEs to develop their skill sets. We're also looking at helping MSMEs to be more resilient. And when I speak about resilient, we're looking at financial management coaching, helping them to become better entrepreneurs in terms of those connections, those collaborations. Export readiness is one of the biggest things that we think is easily accessible. And so linking with those organizations that can assist, whether they be the Caribbean Export Development Agency or the IOE, all of these international organizations that will assist. We're also looking to ensure that MSMEs embrace technology as best they can. And so we think about digitizing a lot of their skills, a lot of their product offerings. And so I think all of those things coupled into one are some of the strategic, innovative strategies that we're looking to help small businesses develop in order to be successful.
Now you kind of already touched on some of those things that you're looking at in terms of helping out with the MSMEs. Now, how do you envision the Chamber's role in providing that support or the additional support? I know you started to mention some of them already, but is there anything in particular that's really geared towards the small and medium-sized enterprises here in the Bahamas?
Sure. So one of the greatest assistance that we're going to offer MSMEs is that level of collaboration with policymakers. The Chamber sits as a buffer between MSMEs and their cries and the policymakers. And so working more collaboratively with government will help us to ensure that MSMEs have their challenges heard, but also have them met. We're also looking to help in terms of those opportunities for collaboration. One of the biggest things that the Chamber was known for was those collaborative initiatives, and so whether it be Business After Dark or some of those strategic sessions, we're going to bring those back. We're also looking in terms of ensuring that MSMEs have an opportunity for exposure. So Chamber Hour will be back, and we're looking to have a lot of streamlined initiatives where we partner with those agencies and partner with those persons like You and Your Money and other agencies that can assist with bringing that level of exposure to the business community through the Chamber's access.
Well, I definitely love the idea about partnering with You and Your Money.
Absolutely.
Now, what challenges do you anticipate in implementing your vision, and how do you plan to address them?
So I think one of the biggest challenges is eating the elephant one bite at a time. I'm usually someone who likes to bite off much more than I can chew, and so I think being more strategic in ensuring and understanding that this is a journey and it's not a sprint. And so once the support is there, which it is through our leadership, through Tim Ingram, who is the board chairman, Don Williams, who is the deputy chairman, and the support of the wider team, our board, the team at the Chamber of Commerce, I think we will be more strategic and streamlined in how we actually approach them, and getting that level of support that's required by policymakers, by the private sector, getting those sponsorships, getting that voice of the MSME community heard. I think those are some of the not challenges, but opportunities that I think we're going to kind of grasp very quickly.
Now, while we talk about, of course, having to take those challenges or see them as opportunities, in what ways do you plan to leverage technology and digital transformation to enhance the Chamber's services as well as the impact?
Great question. So a lot of persons are afraid of AI, and one of the things that we're looking at the Chamber, I actually just saw an email where we're putting together this AI, this AI session to help MSMEs understand the tool that is AI and help them to be more advanced in terms of their product offering. So how do we look at platforms where they're able to sell their products and services? How do we look at using AI to do things like generate invoices, generate profit and loss statements, balance sheets? How do we understand the tools? And so understanding the mechanisms of, as simple as it is to calculate burn rate, a lot of entrepreneurs don't know how to do that. And so by using technology and by helping to promote that technology through the Chamber, I think we're going to have great success. One of the things that we're doing, even as an organization, is being more intentional about our use of technology, such that we have, of course, social media platforms. A lot of the product offerings are now digitized in that those applications can be completed online. You don't have to physically walk a paper in. I smiled at the conference I was at in Antigua, where one of the persons from a neighboring Caribbean country spoke about persons believing that digitizing or getting something online is scanning a document onto a website where they still have to print it, complete it, and then turn it in. But we're speaking more about actually being able to manipulate that document, complete it online, submit all of those things. And so we're using technology not only as an organization, but to help bridge that. The Bahamas is unique in that our islands and keys are spread out. And so we have to be more advanced in technology if we want to reach those varying islands, because while we are a chamber based in New Providence, we are a chamber for the entire community, or MSME community, whether they be in Inagua in the south or whether they be in Grand Bahama and Abaco in the north.
Well, Leo, we have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look at budget implications, navigating the new fiscal landscape. This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back.
But what? The luncheon?
Why you always worried about food? No, about how we gotta pay a little more for national insurance.
Mildred, you talking fool. I can't afford to pay that.
And you're always crying, palm out. Ain't gonna be much. Boss still gotta pay. 1st of July, 2024. Oh, I can't wait to get my little extra pension.
You ain't lie about that, you know. I think that's what did help my boy Tony
Oh, yeah?
during the pandemic. That same unemployment benefit. And guess what?
What?
Susan, I think she'd get a pregnancy benefit, eh?
You mean maternity benefit, eh? So now, we gotta do our part to make sure we get our pension. All right, well, let me try and go back to my busy boss.
Fiscal Holdings Limited is proud of its consistent growth and the financial success it continues to bring to many Bahamians who invest in the company. Fiscal is committed to ensuring optimal financial performance for its shareholders. Fiscal's leadership remains focused on superior customer service and operational excellence across all sectors. Fiscal, fueling growth for people.
Car insurance, home insurance, marine insurance, this insurance, that insurance. The truth is, you may not like it very much, but you need insurance, and it has to work for you. That's why Summit insurance policies are designed with you and your life in mind, fitting your lifestyle and needs perfectly. So you can rest comfortably knowing that your car, home, boat, and business are well taken care of. Contact our agents at Insurance Management today. Summit Insurance, we peak above all others.
At Simplified Lending, we know that your time is precious, so we've unscrambled the loan process, making it fast and hassle-free. You can have your answer in as little as 24 hours. When you qualify, we simplify. We are the best borrowing solution for tuition, emergency medical expenses, and for business expansion loans. Simplified Lending for simplified living. Call us today or find us in the R&D Plaza on JFK Drive.
Simplified Lending for simplified living.
Welcome back to You and Your Money, everyone. In this segment, I'll still be speaking with Mr. Rolle, CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, and we'll be discussing budget implications, navigating the new fiscal landscape. Now, Leo, how does the newly proposed government budget align with the Chamber's strategic goals and vision for economic growth?
So that's a great question, Ria. We at the Chamber of Commerce have decided to take a position that we will actually provide a level of commentary on the budget after the actual debate, not so much the communication, but I'll tell you, we don't ever do anything without the impetus of our members. And so prior to even our pre-budget communication, what we did was we launched a survey where we were able to understand from our members where the gaps were, where the loopholes were, where they were looking for more opportunities from the government. A number of those initiatives or those requisitions by our members spoke to more streamlined assistance in terms of government offerings. So they want to see a lot more online. We spoke about digitization earlier, and they want to see a lot more of those services offered online. They wanted to see more from the Registrar General's Department, the ease of doing business, of getting documents. They talked about inland revenue, a lot of the red tape, improper staffing in terms of the amount of persons that are there to assist. One of the most universal challenges of a business is access to capital. And so a lot of our members are looking for better ways to be able to access capital cheaper and more efficiently. They also spoke about taxes, and I'm happy, as the communication has been laid, that there aren't any additional taxes that are being levied in the budget, because that's always an important part of being an entrepreneur, when you look at those opportunities to increase revenue while minimizing your expenses.
Now, I think one of the key things, and I applaud those members that would have participated in the survey, and I'm sure you'd also want to encourage more members to participate in surveys just so that you can get proper feedback and understand how best you can actually help them out. Now, what specific budget allocations or initiatives do you believe will have the most significant impact on local businesses and the overall economy?
So I think there are a number of incentives in the budget so far. Those that are geared towards eliminating duties, as well as those that are geared towards reducing duties. I think that's going to be a big impetus to some of those MSMEs. Additionally, I note that there is quite a push to family island development. And so looking at those areas where the family islands who are often felt marginalized or disenfranchised are now able to see more of the money that's earned in their economy, left in that economy, that's a big push. I note that there are a lot of incentives for the creative economy, and I think that's great in terms of the elimination of import taxes or duties for the creative industry, and so I think we'll see a lot more creatives. I may even become an artist, so who knows. But I think that the budget is off to a great start. As I said, the Chamber will release an official position once each minister has an opportunity to debate on their various ministries. But for what we've seen so far with the skeleton or the draft that's been produced by the Prime Minister that outlines the communication, it's looking very promising for the MSME community.
All right. Now, how can the Chamber itself effectively advocate for and ensure the successful implementation of budget measures that support business development and economic resilience?
So I think this is already a part of it, in that we have a voice at the table in terms of commenting on the budget and ensuring that at the end of the day, the Chamber is a voice for its members, but also more collaboration, working closely with those ministries, Ministry of Economic Affairs, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Finance, to ensure that at the end of the day, the voice of the members is heard, and those things that were raised as a result of our survey are actually put to the forefront, and we come together, I guess, a battle of the minds to ensure that the most favorable outcome is arrived, and also putting out what we plan to do as a chamber, position papers. And so those position papers will help to support the voice of the members and help to guide government policies. One of the biggest things when I recently completed my doctorate, and my dissertation was on diversifying the Bahamian economy and the role that MSMEs play. And so a lot of the information that's contained in that document, I've already started conversing with those various stakeholders to kind of ensure that the voice of MSME is heard, but also the landscape is changed for the better.
While you would have mentioned talking about collaboration, what are some of the potential challenges do you foresee in leveraging the government budget for economic growth, and how can the Chamber address these challenges?
So I think with a budget, there's always the challenge of ensuring you can never please all of the people all the time, right? And so I think one of those challenges will be, how does everyone's voice get heard, and some of those changes made for the betterment of the MSME community as a whole. And so one of the ways that the Chamber is leveraging its relationships or its established partnerships is working with those ministries and those officials and those policymakers to impact and see a lot of changes. I note that when the government released, I think it was earlier this year or late last year, that new system, the Chamber was right there along for inland revenue in terms of the business licensing. The Chamber was right there championing the cause of our members, and that was one of the things that helped with the change and the amnesty or the grace. And so I think an opportunity lies in us being more proactive, us working together with those policymakers, us ensuring that the voice of our community, we're a members organization, and so the voice of the members is always forefront, and ensuring that at the end of the day, even though as there will be disagreements perhaps on principle or policy, once the end goal is in the best interest of the MSME community, then our mission has been accomplished.
Well, Leo, we have to take another break, and when we get back, we'll talk about collaborative efforts, Chamber and government partnerships. This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back.
Since 1974, the National Insurance Board has been an income replacement safety net.
But to ensure our future remains secure, starting July 1st, 2024, contribution rates will increase and will continue to be shared by employers and employees.
We will be sharing more information in the upcoming months, but for now, get more details on nibrateincrease.com.
Invest in tomorrow today with NIB.
Because together we can ensure our financial future.
Fiscal Holdings Limited is proud of its consistent growth and the financial success it continues to bring to many Bahamians who invest in the company. Fiscal is committed to ensuring optimal financial performance for its shareholders. Fiscal's leadership remains focused on superior customer service and operational excellence across all sectors. Fiscal, fueling growth for people.
At Simplified Lending, we know that your time is precious, so we've unscrambled the loan process, making it fast and hassle-free. You can have your answer in as little as 24 hours. When you qualify, we simplify. We are the best borrowing solution for tuition, emergency medical expenses, and for business expansion loans. Simplified Lending for simplified living. Call us today or find us in the R&D Plaza on JFK Drive.
Simplified lending for simplified living.
Car insurance, home insurance, marine insurance, this insurance, that insurance. The truth is, you may not like it very much, but you need insurance, and it has to work for you. That's why Summit insurance policies are designed with you and your life in mind, fitting your lifestyle and needs perfectly. So you can rest comfortably knowing that your car, home, boat, and business are well taken care of. Contact our agents at Insurance Management today. Summit Insurance, we peak above all others.
Welcome back to You and Your Money, everyone. Mr. Leo Rolle, CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employees Confederation, is here to speak with us. In the previous segments, we spoke about vision and innovation, the new CEO's blueprint for success, and budget implications, navigating the new fiscal landscape. In this segment, we're going to talk about collaborative efforts, chamber and government partnerships. Now, Leo, how do you plan to strengthen the collaboration between the chamber and the government to address the current economic challenges?
Sure, that's a great question, Ria. So one of the ways we've already begun strengthening those partnerships is through those collaborations. So we're working closely with the Ministry of Economic Affairs at the moment, working on a trade portal, as well as a platform that will allow persons to be able to post their products and services and accept payments as a result of those products and services. Additionally, we're working with a number of government consulates and missions abroad. Chiefly among them is Canada. We're working very closely with 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪�$ъ್ъ to come up with a trade mission, and that trade mission will be dual purpose because it'll have the role of having persons from the MSME community in Canada over in the Bahamas to look at opportunities for foreign direct investment, as well as entrepreneurs from the Bahamas in Canada looking at opportunities for export. We're working with some members from the High Commission in London to get a trade mission also underway. We're working with persons in Kuwait to get a trade mission underway. We're also looking at other partnerships, and those partnerships being other ministries where, for instance, we spoke earlier about the Registrar General's Department. So how do we create a level of involvement through that organization where there's a level of support, not only from the chamber standpoint, because there may be issues that are very real that we can assist, but also how we can work to galvanize support for our members. Similarly, Inland Revenue and those other agencies, immigration is another one. And so I think there are a number of strategic partnerships on the horizon, but also a number of strategic partnerships that we already have that we simply need to massage and ensure that we enhance and kind of nurture to move forward.
Well, it definitely sounds as if you're well in your way with having to establish some of those relationships, some partnerships that's going to help you moving forward. What specific roles can the Chamber play in influencing and supporting the newly proposed government budget?
Sure. So one of the first things that we need to do is kind of dissect the budget and look at those areas that are supportive for the MSME community. And once we understand those areas that are supportive, which is why I mentioned that the Chamber will release an official position as a result of the survey, but also once the various ministers have had an opportunity to weigh in on that budget. And what we will then do is look at areas for improvement, and so those areas where there may be a lack in terms of what the MSME community would have told us as a result of that survey, and working with those ministries, because the budget is sort of a macro level, and so they will give the outline of what is to come, and you can still kind of work within the means of that. For instance, there may be $10 million that's allocated for capital development. And so how then do we, if we say that our members are looking for more spaces or more opportunities, how then do we work with that ministry or that minister to ensure that some of that allocation assists the MSME community? So it's first looking at the budget, dissecting it to make sure that there are, where those opportunities are, we ensure that we have a seat at the table in dissecting those opportunities and kind of shaping and molding it to some of the areas that our members are looking to actually see as a result of the provisions that have been made.
All right, well, the last thing I want to find out from you is, can you share any recent examples of successful collaboration between the Chamber and government entities, and how these partnerships have benefited the business community itself?
Sure. So I spoke briefly about the government last year or earlier this year, the new proposed system, or the new system that's been implemented relative to business licenses. And while it's still a work in progress, what the Chamber of Commerce did was reached out to Department of Internal Revenue, and through our chair, Tim Ingram, were able to get a period where businesses were able to get support, they were able to get help, they were able to get direct contact. So some of those persons, you've seen a lot of the webinars that have been created such that businesses were then able to understand how to complete those applications. There was an amnesty for them to complete it. And so that's a prime example. However, we're now working very closely with NIB. As you know, that there's going to be a rate increase. And so we're looking to work directly with NIB, whether that be through a webinar or through a breakfast brunch, where we're able to bring the MSME community together and through NIB's intervention, help them to understand how this increase impacts their business and what are some of the opportunities. So we look forward to more opportunities for partnerships, for collaboration with other government agencies as there become opportunities for MSMEs in the long run.
Well, Leo, thank you for joining me on the show today.
Ria, I appreciate the opportunity, and I thank you for such an engaging conversation.
Well, how can persons get in contact with you?
Sure. So you can reach us at 322-2145 or info@theBahamasChamber.com. Feel free to reach out to Shanishian Burrows or Shavia Sands. They will be more than happy to accept your application and welcome you on board.
Innovation knows no bounds, pushing the limits of what's possible and driving progress in every sector. From groundbreaking technologies to visionary strategies, it continuously redefines the landscape of possibility and unlocks new avenues for growth and development. Before you go, we want to hear from you. Scan the QR code on the screen to give us your feedback. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Here are our dollars and cents snapshots from this week's show. Number 1, innovation dividends. Investing in innovation yields long-term dividends, propelling economic growth and fostering resilience. Number 2, collaborative solutions. Collaboration between the Chamber and government sparks innovative solutions, driving efficiency and prosperity. Number 3, adaptive resilience. Embracing change and adaptability is key to navigating evolving economic landscapes and securing financial stability. That's it for today's show. Don't forget to scan the QR code on the screen to give us your feedback. Follow You and Your Money on Facebook and tune in next week for a brand new episode. I'm Ria Christina. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.